when I first went there, I pulled him. I was like, you know what? I need to have a conversation with him because it's his club at this point. He's the man. He excites me when I see him play. Do you know what I mean? When I watch him, it reminds me of myself type thing. And the things which I was, trying to achieve, cutting inside, shooting, those types of things. To bow out with that Champions League trophy in my hand was the best feeling ever. And even to go even further, to see the boys lift the Premier League when I left, gave me a crazy... I text everybody, I text the manager, I text Mike Gordon, I text everybody. I text Mike before the whistle even blew at the game. I'm a type of guy where I've had injuries, but I did everything I could do to be fit. You know what I mean? I did everything I could do. Had my own physios as well as the club physios. I did countless hours of gym work, everything. I did everything I could do. I just think the senior players at the club, he probably rubbed them up the wrong way a little bit. Every time Dot hears someone about Liverpool, he just starts smiling. Yo, every single time, bro. I peeked to my right just to see his facial expression, and I was gonna start laughing straight away.
You know what, Sturridge? I've always had this question, and I've always wanted to ask you. Do you feel in some ways that your style of play is influenced by your love for music and stuff like that? Because the way that you play and your style of play isn't what you typically associate to an English player, right? And when I think about, for example, Brazilians, I feel like they're very much influenced by the whole samba music style, and it comes across in the way that they play. If you're throwing it back to the days of Ronaldinho, Rivaldo.
Oh my God,
those guys. It was
man.
the samba, right? So, and when I look at you and the way that you play, it's like you give off that kind of air as well. It's like very, you know what I mean? It's
that vibe is just definitely so. For me, obviously Caribbean culture, Jamaican vibes, so we know how to dance. We got our flex going on. But I feel like those guys, when I grew up, I always watched, assessed the Brazilian players, the Ronaldos, the Rivaldos, Romario, Ronaldinho. Then, rest in peace to Diego Maradona. I loved Argentinian, but I loved his style of play. He's left-footed, so I, learned so much from him. Pele, Thierry Henry, just a whole host of players who were skillful. But the samba guys, I went to a camp. I don't even know if people know this. I went to a camp in Switzerland, right? There was a training camp in Lucerne in Switzerland. And I said to my agent, oh, is it possible I could go over there? I think I was I might have been 16 at the time. And I went to Lucerne for 3 or 4 days and watched Brazil prepare for the World Cup. So I got to meet Ronaldo, took a photo with him. I was gassed. Yeah. Met Cafu, watched them train, watched how they went about their business, seen them, I got an in-depth look into how they went about their business. And as a culture, obviously, they're on the coach, they're playing the bongos, they're singing, they're, in the dressing room, they're in there doing skills and stuff before the game, doing round the worlds and all types of stuff. And it's culturally, as English players, I don't think we ever thought that. We never did that. It was never normal for us. We were always within ourselves and was upstanding on what was the right thing to do and blah blah blah. Whereas for them it was just second nature. We're here, we're having fun, we're vibing, we're with our boys, we're having a kick about. Do you know what I mean? So it was let's express ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I think for me as a player, I've always been someone who likes to express themselves. Nowadays there are players, you see Grealish, Silky, Foden, Silky, Sancho. Sancho's on a madness. The things he's doing with that ballon, honestly, I haven't seen for years.
Even Kurt,
the skills he's doing, bro.
Well,
mate, Kurt skills. There's so many players now who are doing things with that ball, bro. Where you're looking at them and you're thinking, wow. Even Rashid's obviously. Oh, Rashford's a little bit old. He's still young, but some of the skills I've seen Rashford doing, he's got players falling over and all types of stuff. And I'm thinking, when I was coming up, there weren't many players who were expressing themselves like that. It was a different era, so it was like centre forwards, more experienced, stronger, hold up play, and I was probably one of the guys who was at the changing of the guards, in that there were more, you know, skillful players coming through and more express yourself, do your thing. But growing up as a kid, the coaching wasn't focused on skills. It was more focused on possession-based things. So if you were skillful, you were different. And fortunately for me, I was able to keep my skills along the way, and was able to do it on the biggest stages as well. So I'm grateful to God for that.
Yeah, so when you watch the Premier League nowadays, like what makes you happy, like watching the league week in, week out? What sort of things are impressing you?
Oh, I mean, some of the players and the things people are doing, and the younger players which are coming through as well. You know, to see the likes of Mason Greenwood, amidst all the, you know, the things that people say about him off the pitch. I think his play on the football pitch has been exemplary, and I think he's shown a lot of fight. I love the way he plays the game. You can see he's a natural goal scorer, both feet. He excites me when I see him play. Do you know what I mean? When I watch him, it reminds me of myself type thing, and the things which I was, you know, trying to achieve, cutting inside, shooting, those types of things. At Liverpool, and you just see the way in which the team are playing exciting football going forward. You see Spurs playing a different style of football now, more counter-attacking. Harry Kane playing a little bit deeper. I think the way in which they're attacking is almost similar to like Liverpool style in how they're trying to play the game now, and it's helping them be successful. You know, in that they're playing counter-attacking. Son's running in behind, Bergwijn's running in behind, Gareth Bale's running in behind, and Kane's kind of like a Firmino now in how he's dropping deeper. Traditionally, Kane would be playing on the shoulder. Man City are always going to be Man City. You know, Sterling's doing what he does best. You know, my brother, love to see him doing what he's doing. Yeah, man, Raheem, you know, he's done stuff off the pitch and on the pitch, which has been unbelievable. And so proud of those guys. Even Rashford as well. You know, feeding the hungry families around the UK, feeding the youth, feeding the families. I think he's done something special, and I'm so happy to see him get the accolades for that as well. You know, because he deserves it. So I've been paying a lot of attention to the Premier League. You know, it's my home league. I watch all the games, literally every single team. And when I played, I never used to assess the game as I do now. You know, I look at the game differently. So for me, I know there's things I can bring to the table. I know there's things I can do, whether it be the Premier League or other leagues. I'm watching all the other leagues around the world. But for me, I know I've still got the tools to create problems, to cause havoc. You know what I'm saying? So to cause havoc. So I'm excited. I can't wait for January to come around so I can get myself situated at a club, bro, and just show the world what I'm about, man. Because I'm like, I got that fire in my belly where I'm just really looking forward to being out there on the pitch and showing the world what I'm about again.
No, definitely. And last one on Liverpool, how do you sum up your time at the club? How was your departure?
It was just great to lift that Champions League trophy, bro. Do you know what I mean? And I put a letter out and said to the fans, like, thank the fans, because my time there was ups and there was downs. There was highs and there was lows. There was so many ups and downs, and the fans were so great with me throughout the time. Everyone at the club, my time there was just, I was part of the family. So it was like, for a lot of the people there, it was like us. I've been there so long, it was like, damn, like Studge is like leaving. It was like, I said goodbye. Jurgen put a thing out there and thanked me and called me a Liverpool great, which I was like, you know, it was weird because when you're young and you don't see yourself as somebody who is considered like a thing, but you've been somewhere so long. And another one, you know, I had like something I've never said to people, but I had like Mike Gordon and you know, Tom Warren. I had contact with them and spoke to Mike, and he was like, Daniel, like, can't thank you enough for everything you've done for the club. And, you know, we had a great relationship, me and Mike. He was somebody who I, you know, I knew his ambitions for the club, more than the fans. When I saw things what the fans would say, like, oh, you know, we want them to back the club and spend, and I knew what he was trying to achieve. I could see what, you know what I'm saying. So it was just like, you guys are gonna see very soon that this, you know what I mean, that we're gonna win something very soon. So to have a relationship with those guys and for them to thank me just gave me a warm feeling inside. And when I walk down the street today, I still see Liverpool fans and they're hailing me up, and people are like, "Oh, you're a legend for the team," and I'm like, in my mind, I'm a humble guy, so I don't see myself like that. I'm like, he's miles off it, or like, "Oh, you're a Liverpool great," and I'm thinking, I don't look at myself like that, but I was there for so long, like 7 years, and to bow out with that Champions League trophy in my hands was the best feeling ever. And even to go even further, to see the boys lift the Premier League when I left, gave me a crazy. I text everybody. I text the manager. I text Mike Gordon. I text everybody. I text Mike before the whistle even blew at the game.
You
like
weren't
Mike,
taking any chances, bro.
Bro, I
Making
text
sure you
I
get
text
that first message in.
bro. Imagine I text him like I text him like 20 minutes before the game finished, and I was like, Mike, congratulations on winning the Premier League. And he was like, Daniel, I'm still nervous. And I'm like, Mike, we're 20 points in front. We are like, the league's sewn up, bro. Like, you don't need to worry about that. So it's just like the realization, I suppose, of the team lifting that trophy. Even for me, as a player who played for the club and leaving the club and feeling like I've achieved something, and I'm so happy that I've achieved something with the team, and to see my old teammates lift the trophy when I left, and to see them be successful and create history was amazing.
100%. Big up, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what, Staj? I wanted to ask you, right, going back to what we were talking about previously when you were, you know, talking about your Rashfords and your Sterlings and your Greenwoods and whatnot. You've previously spoken about like the fact that you always keep and have good relationships with the younger players at you know, the club that you're at, but also other clubs. Why is that so important to you?
That's a good question. I feel it's important to me because I understood the power of an experienced player speaking to me and telling me things that when a coach speaks to you, you take it in and you take it on board, and what he's saying is correct, of course. But when you speak to a player who's in your shoes, who's been there and done it and been through the experiences that you're going through, I should say, it hits even home even harder than when the coach says it sometimes, because the coach says it and as you coach and you listen to him, of course, because he's the coach and he's the gaffer, he's the man who's, you know, trying to help you improve as a player. But when players say it as well, it's a different feeling. Like, I remember having conversations with like an Anelka, for instance, and I'd ask him like, Nico, like, why do you think that? Or like Lampsy, I'd be like, Lamps, what do you think of this? Or Stevie G, I'd be like, Stevie, what do you think of this? Like, Wazza, like, I'd ask him questions just about certain things that they've been through, trials and tribulations. Or Didier, how do you feel when you're going through on goal? Like, or how do you take? I tried to learn how to do the dipping free kick from Didier, but you know, still can't do it. But it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? I tried my best.
You're naming like the best players of the last 10 to 15 years. Like, it's just mad.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, bro. I hear that. Yeah, no, but I'm not even thinking it like that. But you know, when like you speak to these guys and you pick their brain, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're going to go out their way, because everyone's different personality-wise. But I'm like a banter guy. Like, if a new player comes into Liverpool, you can ask anyone. I was the first to be bantering with them. You know, like, yo, come under my wing. Like, I'm a banter with you, get you to feel comfortable. You know, if you're Brazilian, I'm going to try and speak Portuguese, although I can't speak Portuguese. I'm going to try my best. If you're French, I'm going to throw in a little bit of banter here and there. So I was always somebody who tried to make people feel comfortable. But for the young players, it's like, as a player, you can see their strengths and you can also see their weaknesses, and you can see it's not a thing of like, I'm a centre forward, you're a centre forward, I don't want you to take my place, I'm not going to tell you. Like, some guys thought like that, like, if I tell you enough, you're going to be better than me. I can't tell you all of it. I'm going to tell you a little bit, but just enough to improve, but not enough to take my spot. But for me, it was like, I'm going to tell you even though you ain't asking me. Like, I'm going to speak to you about things like, yo, you should do this different, or keep doing your thing. Everything you're doing right now is lit. Or, nah, bro, you need to get yourself in the box when you're on crosses, or, you know, I speak to Joey G and be like, he's going through an injury right now, and I'd be like, Joey G, like, or don't lose the faith. Like, you're a world-class player. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like the dark moments, you need people behind you aside from your family who are showing that they care. You know what I'm saying? And after park stuff, giving people praise, like, and showing them that it's not just the media who needs to like recognize, or it's not just the people close to them. When you see things, give them like a pat on the back and let them see, like, help them through, give them the courage and give them the confidence to continue doing what they're doing. Because when things go bad and the players start to doubt themselves and, they start to question themselves and things, I feel like senior players are vitally important at that point in time as well, because they've been there, they've experienced. I've had times when I've had bad press and I've come out on the other side and smelt of roses. And for some players, they may never see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? They may never see, like, I can still become who I want to become. You know what I'm saying? Like Greenwood's going to go on to be one of the best centre forwards that ever played for England. Do you know what I'm saying? But at the moment, he may think, oh, like, people are questioning me. But this will be here today and gone tomorrow. And he'll go on to be one of the best players to play in, one of the best strikers, in my opinion, one of the best strikers to play in the Premier League. He'll go down as scoring loads of goals, getting loads of assists, and it will all be forgotten. So it's down to the senior players to give kids advice, to give them a pat on the back when they're doing well, and to put them in line too when they're messing up. Put them in line and say, bro, what you doing? Like, fix up, bro. This is not how a top player should be acting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not how a top player should be acting. Fix up. So it's down to players. Hendo does a great job of that as well. So special mention to Hendo as well.
Yeah, so Daniel, you mentioned Mason Greenwood, and there's going to be a lot of young players listening into this podcast. Like, what's 3 pieces of advice that you would give maybe someone starting up in the game or a young pro that might be having a bad time with like social media, bad performances and things around them going wrong? Like, what would you say to them?
I'd say the first thing is, don't pay attention to your comments on your Instagram and your Twitter, and don't, like, I wouldn't say it's beneficial for you to do that. Like, distractions, you don't need them. Like, Instagram and these things are a good distraction sometimes, but they're also a bad distraction. Do you know what I mean? You can't pay attention to the outside noise. It's all outside noise. It's about focusing and locking in on what matters most, which is what's going to make you be a better player. Do you need to do more hours on the training pitch after training when the team's finished? Do you need to go in the gym more? Are you weak? Are you not a strong player? Do you need to go in the gym? Do you need to build up more? Assess your game. Like, understand, like, it's not always going to be good. You're going to go through blips where you may not score for 10 games and you're thinking, have I still got it? Or whatever. It's like, or you may be a defender who you're getting twisted every week and you're getting questioned by people saying he's miles off it. And you're thinking, have I still got it? Or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And it's about finding things which are going to remind you of who you are. Like, watch yourself, watch your highs, watch your moments which make you realize, like, I did that before. I can do it again. That is me. It wasn't just me. It is me. Like, still that person. I'm still that guy. So don't lose faith in yourself. I think the way in which you live your life, of course, we're not living in a fantasy world. There's fruits to the labor. There's a lot of things that come with this life. And I think it's about avoiding the pitfalls of this life. The nightlife vibes, if you're a young player coming up, focus yourself, the women, and all those types of things, they'll be there forever. That was one thing my granddad always used to say, women will be there forever. Like, focus on being the best you can be. Like, don't worry about, the nightlife and being with the ladies and all these types of things. It's always going to be there. Do you know what I'm saying? Settle yourself down, focus yourself on what it is you need to do. I'm not saying you can't have a blowout every now and again, but doing it every week, every weekend, like, I'm at it. Like, you don't need to be doing that. It's not good for your body moving forward. It's not good for you. And I just say, know what you want to aspire to be, and have a plan for how you want to get there. You know, as a player, sometimes you don't look at how am I going to get to my destination. Like, all right, let me create myself a year plan for this season. Like, these are my things I want to achieve. I want to maybe score 10 goals. You know, I want to score 2 headers because I don't score headers usually. So I'm going to add 2 headers to the list because that's something I want to achieve. You'll look back at the end of the season and see what's got a tick next to it. What did I achieve? What did I not achieve? Okay, next season, I've set myself some more targets. Before you know, you're rolling through these things and you're starting to achieve certain things. Have yourself, you know, a 5-year plan where on the 5th year, have you achieved those things that you assumed you could achieve prior to that? And how do you plan on getting there? Do you need to do training on your weaker foot? Do you need to become stronger? Do you need to work on your body to ensure you stay healthy and those types of things? Whatever it is you need to do. I'm a type of guy where I've had injuries, but I did everything I could do to be fit. Do you know what I mean? I did everything I could do. I had my own physios as well as the club physios. I did countless hours of gym work, everything. I did everything I could do. So I can look back and say, in my career prior to now, I did everything I could do to be the best I could be. And moving forward, right now, putting in the hours, you know, gym, physio, pitch work, recovery, the whole 9. To be the best, you have to live like the best. You can't just think you're going to be the best. In order to get there, you have to, you know, live like you're the best. Assess the best in basketball. Assess the best NFL players. Assess the best sportsmen of generations prior and now. What are they doing? What's LeBron James doing that I'm not doing? You know, why is Tom Brady play till he's 42? What's he doing? How can I play till I'm, you know, 39 like a Ibrahimovic? You know, what's he doing? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
different.
What are these guys doing to get them? They're not just physical specimens. They're not just, it's not just God-given. They've done the work as well. And regardless of your talents, if you don't do the work, you'll never fulfill what you were to become.
definitely. And we saw a great example with Michael Jordan's documentary, The Last Dance, which
Oh
for
my
me was
God,
just
bro.
absolutely elite.
Best
What did
sports
you guys,
documentary I've ever
what
seen.
did you think it's the best you've ever
Yeah,
seen?
man, that was
Yeah,
too dope.
100%.
That
Are
Best
there,
sports
are there
documentary.
any, got a question for you guys. Are there any other sports documentaries which you would say you've seen that stuck out in your memory to say that inspired me, or, you know, what inspires you guys? Because you got this podcast right now, which is an unbelievable platform. And as I said, you guys are doing an amazing job. But what inspires you guys what has inspired you to be able to do this? Do you know what I mean? Because you're doing something special, and you must have seen documentaries like that and thought, wow, like that's inspired me to be great.
I think it's a lot of people like yourself, you Raheem Sterling's, Marcus Rashford. When we see you guys performing week in, week out, delivering for England, coming from nothing to be world-class players, we're inspired. We don't know you guys, but we're thinking, you know what, whatever we do, we need to do it to the best of our ability. So it all works as like a domino effect.
And just making change, like in the media, like we see players, you know, after games giving that same old answer. We feel that we can create like a safe haven for athletes like yourself to come on and be their authentic selves. And I think there's a power in that, you know.
There is, but I think the players appreciate guys like yourselves. Do you know what I mean? Because to come on here and have banter and to talk about things and to open up, I think it is important as well, because there were times in my career where I didn't speak to the media, and you don't want to open up and talk all the time and have constant things. You know, there are the stereotypical answers, you know, after a game. And I think players are taught as well, like, these are the things that you should be saying, the things you shouldn't be saying. So I think platforms like this allow the fans to see a different aspect, a different view on like the players. And I think going back to The Last Dance, we never saw stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, we never saw Michael Jordan bantering his teammate because he was miles off it. but getting the best out of him, like by saying like, oh, you know, you ain't good and all these types of things, badgering him, but building him up to that moment when he needed him. Do you know what I mean? Like mad stuff. You're thinking, like, whoa, like that is insane. So for me, that was it. The Senna documentary was fire.
Okay.
Ayrton Senna, the F1 driver.
Yeah.
That one was mind-boggling. Trying to think who else there was that I've seen.
Even like Fernando Torres has one that came out recently, actually on Amazon.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
El Nino, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
El Nino. What a player, by the way, at Liverpool, mate.
Top striker, man.
Bad boy, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Different levels.
Oh my God.
Him and Gerrard had that.
Let me ask you guys a question, because I don't even know if people have asked you. Let me ask you guys a question. Which players, because obviously there was a debate. I saw a debate in my group chat, and they were saying, is Virgil up there as a centre half in top 5 Premier League or top 10 or whatever it may be? And the banter in the group chat, I want to hear you guys' perspective on that. Do you believe Virg is up there as one of the top 5, or is he number 1? Is he top 5? Is he top 10? Where do you guys see Virg?
It's a difficult debate. I mean, different eras. Some people say the game panders more towards attackers now, you know. So, but I think Virgil, when you look at his game, he's got everything. He's got the speed, the height, the strength, the technical ability. He can play, you know, whereas defenders...
Every time Dot hears someone about Liverpool, he just starts smiling. Yo, every single time, bro. I peeked to my right just to see his facial expression, and I was going to start laughing straight away, so that's why
you know what's mad? It's because what this team have managed to do in a 2-year period, I'm forever grateful to all of them.
Did you believe it could happen?
No.
What, the Premier League?
Yeah, I said if Jurgen Klopp can't win the Premier League for Liverpool, no one can. And that's what I said from the very day one. And for him to do it, unbelievable.
Yeah, he just cements himself as, you know, he's the GOAT. He's going to go up there in the folklore of the greatest managers ever to manage Liverpool. And, you know.
Budge is down there as an Arsenal fan.
Do you know what, Studge, yeah? So I think if you're talking about attributes, right? Aerial ability, strength, power, tackling, anticipation, those kind of things, right? You can match Virgil against the all-time greats from that standpoint, right? However, I think it's too premature to put him in that top 5 of all time, because we've now got to see the accolades match up, right? Yeah. You're talking to guys that have won back-to-back Premier Leagues, Champions League. They've done it over a longer period of time, right? You're talking about people that were playing at the top at the top level for years, year after year after year, right? Virg has been doing it at the top level for, let's say, 2-3 years, right? Yeah. So we need a bit more of a longer period of time before we can categorically say 100% he's top 5. But you know what? On this question, I want to flip it on you now, Studge, and I want to ask.
We're flipping on each other.
You've been there and done it. You've played in the Premier League against some of the all-time greats. Yeah. So your view, in terms of the defenders that you've played against, what's your top 5? Who are the most difficult defenders you've come up with?
Oh, see, I've never had this question as in to say my top 5 defenders. I've always asked me, like, who's the one, or, you know, whatever. In the Prem, Virg has to be in there, because I've had some games against him where he's got the better of me, and I've had some games where I've got the better of him and I've just twisted him up. But I'd say there's going to be guys that will watch this podcast, so don't call me out, yeah, because obviously don't call me out, lads, because obviously I'm just giving my opinion. I don't want no messages from nobody either. I'd say Virg has to be up there just because I feel, you know, I'm not basing my judgments, right, off of what they've achieved. Because if I do that, then I have to put guys in there because they've won 7 Premier Leagues or whatever it may be. I'm going off of who I played against personally, my specific era. Although I came up against the Rios and guys like that, I wouldn't necessarily say I played against them in their prime. You know what I mean? Whereas they faced guys in their prime, and I was a young player coming up who I wasn't in my prime. So they didn't face the best version of me and vice versa. So who I've played against, I'd say Verge was up there. Chrissy Smalling, it obviously goes down that I've always said Chrissy Smalling. Just too big, too strong, fast, knew my style, played with me at England. I'd do a step over, he'd know where Studge is going. The only way I could get past Chrissy was doing a 1-2, and I knew that, and I did it. That's how I got past him, 1-2s. Because if you try and go past him, he's just too strong and too big, bro. So Chrissy goes in there. I'd say, it was really good. Saying that, I played against Ledley King a few times. Ooh. And I remember there was this time when obviously people were saying Ledley was rapid, right? But I was feeling myself. So I was like, no, I'm not going to run in him. So I've knocked it and thought, I'm gone. And obviously he's caught up and slide tackled me, and I've face planted into the dirt. So that taught me a lesson. Taught me a lesson, simple as that. So Ledley goes in there. I think the way JT reads the game, and although I trained with JT every day, I'd say I have to put JT from the training perspective. I trained against him every day. And training is different to games in that you can train against somebody and the feeling in training is that, you don't go as hard. I watched him play against other players too. And when I trained against him, I felt as if the way he read the game was different. Of course, I'm a skillful player, so I'm going to get the better of guys anyway. It's just the nature of it. Like, I'm going to get the better of them, and they're going to get the better of me because I'm a skillful player. But I felt as if the way he read the game was great. And in all honesty, I'd say it's a tough one because there's probably more honourable mentions, so I couldn't say just 5. Vincent Kompany, different, special. So Vincent has to go in there. He had everything, man. And still, he just had everything. Just different, bro. Heading, tackling, pace, passing, the lot. He'd have to go in there. Even people like Vertonghen, Baller, you know what I mean? Dejan Lovren. Dejan at Southampton before he came to Liverpool had me up. And I was vexed. That's why he signed for Liverpool. They signed him because he had me up. You know what I mean? Had me in his back pocket that game. And I was thinking, wow, like, I'm doing everything. I think they got a clean sheet. I'm doing everything. And Dej had me up that game. He just had me up. Like, they beat us at their place at St. Mary's. But obviously, I've forgot loads of players too. There's a load of guys who I knew I didn't like playing against just based off their physical nature, nicking at the ankles, like off the ball stuff that I've had guys pinch me in my back, like random stuff, bro. Like where you're thinking people wouldn't do that, pinching you, stepping on your toe, making out like the walking, stepping on your toe, like thinking. Like, you know what I mean? Like walking past and stepping on your toe, you're in the box. Oh, sorry. Like, so like loads of stuff. So I'd say there's a lot of guys in the Premier League that I haven't mentioned that I know that they did get the better of me. Gary Cahill, you know what I mean? Guys like that where I'd say he got the better of me sometimes. I had my fair share of days, but these guys, I know it's a long-winded answer, but I have to give these guys their shine, bro, because a lot of players out there, they don't get, you know what I mean? They don't get the respect they deserve as players. So that's why it's a long-winded answer to give these guys. And there's a lot of young guys coming up too. Training against Joe Gomez when I was at Liverpool, I was thinking, okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to twist you up. All right, cool. You strong, all right, cool, yeah. You fast, yeah, you fast. All right, cool, yeah. Not afraid to be dirty. All right, cool. You got it all. All right, fair play. I still have my days, but you know what I mean? You look at them and you think, yeah, he's next. He's going to be in that class. You can see it. He's going to be in that class down the line. So excited for the new generation of players, but you know, the guys which I mentioned, I think those are the ones for me in the Premier League that I've played against and had a hard time.
Even just scrolling back to your time at like Chelsea, you seem to have a good relationship with AVB. He's a manager that's gone on to manage Marseille. Like, how was he when he came into Chelsea in getting the best out of you?
He was unbelievable, man. He's just a great coach and somebody who understood like how to get the best out of young players. And I loved working for him. He played me on the right, and he had Hulk playing with him prior to coming to Chelsea. So he was like, yeah, Hulk was like this at Porto and boom, boom, boom. And he kind of like wanted me to kind of be his version of Hulk. I was left-footed playing on the right wing. And I managed to be successful, scored some goals and got assists. And, you know, unfortunately, he was sacked. But he was just a coach who I really loved playing for and just had success and learned so much from him as well. You can learn a lot from him as a player. And, you know, the young players at Marseille now who are working with him, I'm sure they're enjoying playing with him, his tactical style and how he goes about his business. So salute to him and everything that he's done in the game as a manager.
Why do you think it didn't quite work out for him at Chelsea?
I just think he, you know, the senior players at the club, he probably rubbed them up the wrong way a little bit. And I think he was a young manager at the time. I mean, funnily enough, he was probably the same age as some of them, which is mad to say. But, you know, he was, the players were all experienced, and he just so happened to be a young manager too. So there was a couple of players that were older than him. Do you know what I mean? So I think for them as well, you know, if they worked with AVB prior to him becoming the manager, they worked with him with Jose Mourinho. So he was the video analyst at the time. And, you know, did things in the back room. So they knew him prior to that as well. And I think when someone grows to become something special and now you've got to respect them as the manager, it's probably a transitional phase as well. So that period of someone being very hard and being, you know, these are my decisions and this is how I'm going to work and this is how I'm doing my things and buy into my thing. It was probably a little bit difficult for people to just like buy into it straight away, because some people may have saw him just as AVB, the video analyst, and like, you know, not like respected his attributes and everything he achieved. And I think when you're hard on older players, like instantly, like, you know, benching players and things like that, sometimes it can be detrimental. But for me, I think he was great and he was unbelievable for me. But it unfortunately didn't work out from there. But he's gone on to have so much success that I wouldn't deem it as a failure. We still won the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? And he was part of that. He got us out of the group. We got out of the group with him as the coach. We played the first leg with him as the coach, and obviously we didn't perform as well. But I think he's a great manager, bro. Do you know what I mean? I think he deserves a lot more respect than he gets, I'd say.
And Studge, final one from me on your playing career. But in my opinion, I think this was probably your biggest individual moment to date. And that was that, you know, last minute winner, Euro 2016, Wales.
Yeah, man. Come on, bro.
You see where
that
I'm
was
coming
insane. Come on, bro. I'm with you on that. You know why that was crazy to me? Because I scored in the World Cup, obviously, you know, playing for England and stuff. But we weren't have gone out of the group at that point. If Wales won, they would have had 6 points. We'd have had none. I think we'd have had one, because we drew with Russia. So we'd have had 1 point going into the last game, and we'd have probably been out, basically. So I came on at half time, and I was thinking, got to make something happen again. You know, coming on, thinking, got to make something happen. And when again, it was one of those moments when I look back at it, I didn't realize the things I was doing. And Dele played a great part in it. He did a back heel and got the ball back to me. So, piece of individual brilliance from him, which people don't really talk about. But that piece of individual brilliance from Dele allowed me to even get to the position of scoring. But But I remember I slowed the game down quite a bit, and I was on the edge of the box, like kind of tapping it with the outside of my left foot, like prodding and prodding a little bit, and then I just sped up. And it was one of those moments of like explosion where it was like, okay, cool, I'm moving now and I'm creating something, and I hope he's on my vibe. He's on the same wavelength as me, and Dele was on the same wavelength. And it just so happened I poked it in with my right foot. I don't even think the keeper thought I was going to shoot. And when you see the videos back and like everyone you see everyone running down the line, bro, like everyone sprinting down the line. You see Gary Neville going crazy, like the players are going mad. I'm watching videos, the pubs, there's beers going everywhere. There's blooming, like it was madness. And then like when you're abroad, you don't feel the moment as such. But back home, it was just a different vibe. I know that people had a good night that night. But that moment for me as a player, when I felt that ball go in the back of the net, it was like a sense of like huge pride. Do you know what I mean? To be able to win it was a big rivalry game for us as well. Local derby, you may as well say, in that they were, you know, one of the closest countries to us. So if we'd have lost that game or drew that game, it would have gone down in history. So when we won that game, it was like a moment of just like, wow, like, yeah, we've done it, lads. You know what I mean? We've won this game. We've got a big game coming up against, I think we played Slovakia after that. And then what we knew once we got those 3 points, we had a great chance of going through. So, yeah, that was a great moment, man. And one is obviously international career. There were some great moments in my football career, obviously scored goals in finals and things like that. But that moment for the nation and the vibe was just crazy, bro.
Nah, dope memories, bro. Like,
Yeah,
Dan, I want to
man.
ask you about like your interest outside of football. When people see footballers, they just think, yeah, he's a footballer, train, go home, play your matches, go home. But we've realized there's a lot more depth to a lot of professional footballers. So, like, what's your hobbies outside of the game?
Outside of the game, I mean, I have my record label. I have, you know, artists who I work with, and you know, we go home. We probably put it like this: as footballers, you go home, probably get home about 2:00, maybe. You have more hours in the day at home than you do at work. And the misconception is that, you know, the only thing you should do is play football. Like, why are you doing other stuff? But I mean, I've got home from the gym today. I've done my stuff. I've done my work. I've done my football stuff on the training pitch. I've got home. It's 2:00. And it's like, okay, I've now got another 7, 8, 9 hours before I'm going to be asleep. How do I manage my day? So it's like, yes, I'm going to recover, but I need something to mentally keep me going. Like, to be consumed by the game, in that all you do is think about football, you need that rest by. You need something else to spark your interest so that you're intrigued by stuff. So for me, it's the music stuff. I read, I do do VC funds. So I'll look and do some sort of, have a view and see kind of like what's going on out there in the investment world, what's going on out there in the investment game, what things can I get involved in, what companies are doing well. And pretty much, bro, to be honest, you know, I'll sit on the couch, I'll watch my shows, you know what I mean? I'll get into my little box sets, you know, obviously nowadays it's not box sets, but I've actually got box sets at home. But, you know, nowadays it's streaming. So I'll stream my little shows here and there, you know what I'm saying? And watch. I used to play the PlayStation. I'm not really into that anymore, because I just feel like that is one that you're concentrating so long on the game, and time gets away from you, and you're like, oh shoot, it's late. So I don't really play the PlayStation or the Xbox as much as I used to, but I still get into, you know, little bits here and there. If guys want to try to call me out on UFC or whatever it may be, I'll have a bit. You know, Call of Duty, I'll have a bit. You know what I mean? Warzone vibes, I'll have a little bit. But I try and use my time. And now, obviously, I've got a child, so life's different now, bro.
Yeah.
Times have changed, Studge. You're not the same. The time you had, you now don't have anymore. You have to worry about your child. So I'll have my daughter with me, and we'll, you know, I have her on my chest, try to put her to sleep and all those types of things. So, you know, I'm a family man now. You know what I mean? Like I have to, you know, it's saying it in a bantery way, but that's my reality. Do you know what I mean? It's like I said before, it's bigger than me. It's about my family. It's about my future, our future, how we can progress as a family. And you know, I see the Arsene Wenger book in the background, so I see you read.
Yeah, I've
Dej,
been
I
reading
see, you know what
some
I'm
good
saying?
books. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro. So hopefully one day you'll be reading mine. I'm gonna have one
Come
for
on.
sure. I've got to
Come
write
on.
one.
Yeah, man.
I've got to
Send us a signed
divulge a lot
copy
of
as
stuff.
well, bro.
Oh, for sure. I
Come
mean, as I
on.
said, you know, I'd definitely like to collaborate with you guys. We got to do some more content together, man, because this definitely can't be the last vibe we have together.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? We got to connect again for sure.
100%. You know what, Sturge, before we let you go, I've got to ask you this question because I know you're a man who likes his fashion and you're a man that likes his music, right?
Drip, drip,
and,
drip.
And this came to mind, yeah? So you know, what's it called? Like recently, Spotify came out with your 2020 rap. So it would like show you all the artists you've been listening to, your top music, top tunes, so on and so forth. So part A of this question is, what's on your 2020 Wrapped? Like, who are your top 3 to 5 artists? Who are your best and most played tunes? That's part A of the question. Part B of the question is, if you're going on a date night now with the missus, you're stepping out, there's somewhere nice in LA, looking clean.
Looking clean.
Yeah, looking tidy, looking clean. Come on, you know.
Yeah.
What is your choice of shoe or trainer? What are you stepping out in, basically?
All right. So the 2020 music, I have Anderson 100s on there. He's an artist from Birmingham, who I've worked with. So he's obviously on the list because I listen to his music all the time. I think Gunna was on there, the rapper.
Yeah,
Gunna was on there. Yeah, I listened to Gunna quite a lot.
Gunna's hard,
I mean, to be honest, there was a lot of like R&B stuff though, too. Like the P&D album, Party Next Door album, I played that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Party Next Door is one of my favorite artists, so I played his music a lot. The Weeknd album, I played that a lot too. You know, I'm surprised he didn't get nominated for a Grammy, but you know, let's not go down that rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? Let's not go down that rabbit hole. He deserved a Grammy. He had the best album probably of the year. He deserved at least one nomination. But that's neither here nor there. Who else is on there? I listen to Heady One quite a lot, bro.
Come on.
To be honest, I listen to Heady One quite a lot.
He's cold. He's cold.
Yeah, Heady One's probably the guy in the UK, especially in the drill scene, probably the one guy that I'd say I listen to the most.
100%. 100%.
So Heady One would, you know, he's on there for certain. In regards to the trainer, that's a good question because it depends on what I'm rocking. You know, it could be anything from a Nike Off-White collab, you know, but on an old, maybe like the Air Force version of that, the white joints.
Come on.
You know, I love those. Or, you know, or the Vapor Max, maybe put the Vapor Max Off-Whites on.
They're cold.
It could range from that to go into, you know, the thing is for me is I'm not into the whole bait thing. Like, cool, like, you know, you can rock a one-off Louis Vuitton, right? A one-off vibe. I don't like Louboutins. That's not my flex. It's not really me. I think that they're too loud.
They're really loud.
Too loud. They're too loud, man. So I don't really mess with those. But
the Dior's? What about the Dior's? What do you think about the Dior's?
Those are cold.
What, the runners? The runners?
Yeah.
I'm not really messing with them, bro.
Is it?
Okay.
I'm not, you know what the thing? You know the thing is. You know the thing I really I find hard to do, hard to justify, is I will much prefer to do streetwear vibes and have something that then like buy a Dior for like 650, 700 and like, you know, every Tom, Dick and Harry who has 600-700 can buy that shoe. And then but we're all wearing expensive drip, but it's like we're all wearing Dior, and it's like, why are we all wearing like £700 trainers when, you know, I can buy a Nike Off-White, and if I'm lucky, I can get in and I can get, you know, the cost price for like 100, or you can get a collaboration that another brand, Adidas, may do, or a collaboration that Puma may do, or whatever it may be, or a Supreme collab, or you know, or a Palace collab, or something along those lines.
And it's more unique, innit? It's more unique. Like,
it's more unique. And nowadays, there's so many brands coming up, bro. I'm not even going to put you on game because I don't want guys to take my drip. So I don't want to. So you see, like, you know, right now I'm dressed casual. I got a nice little tracksuit and little zip up vibe. I'm not gonna plug anybody, bro. I'm not. So if you wanna collab with me, DM me. You know my handle. If you don't know my handle, it's Daniel Sturridge.
Come on,
hit me up. We can work together. You feel me? But I'm not gonna plug anybody for free. Come on.
Set for the Beautiful Game podcast, bro.
Exactly. But this right here though, this right here, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than any player. It's for the culture. It's for the young players coming up. It's for 100%. The fans out there, the young fans. It's for all of the fans around the world who want to hear real conversations and to have a talk with people about what they're doing and where they are in their life. You know, as I said, for me, I'm at a stage in my life where I'm hungry and determined to be the best person I can be, the best footballer I can be until the curtain closes. I got a lot more to give and a long way to go in my career before it's finished. So I'm determined. And for guys like yourselves on the Beautiful Game podcast who are pushing yourselves to get to a stage now where you're at 100 episodes. And I'm so proud of you guys to say, yo, these brothers have put the work in, stayed dedicated, you know, to get to this milestone of 100 episodes. You know what I'm saying? There's another 100 after this and another 100 after this. And we look forward to it. As a fan of the podcast, I look forward to the future too. You know what I mean?
Love, bro.
Your careers go to the next level, man. So I'm proud of you, proud of you guys, proud of you brothers for everything you've achieved. You've inspired me, you know, to want to get into this podcast game. So maybe one day on my show, I'll have you three as a guest.
Yeah, come on. We can do that. We're there, bro.
I'm gonna grill you just like you grilled me.
Love, Dan.
Yeah, man. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, bro, man. You've been open.
Just run
you've
away,
been
man. Honestly,
like the time's just defeated us, but love, bro.
I thank you guys, as I said, for giving me the opportunity as well. You know, and I just can't wait to see where you guys go in your future and in your career as guys in this podcast game, because, you know, it's such a fresh and new industry that the sky's the limit for you. So I wish you all the best on the journey, man, and I can't wait to see what's up next.
No, start it. Love, man.
Love every time,
Much love, bro.
I think we can leave it there. There's nothing else needs to be said, man.
Yeah, bro. But as I said, man, much love, bro. Much love for real.
Peace.